Hey, hi, and hello. I'm Troy the Art Boy, and today I'm going to be designing yet another unconfirmed experiment from Lilo and Stitch, the series. Just like my last video, I'm going to be going over a lengthy list of how this project is organized. If you've seen my other videos and would rather skip that part, then please jump to this timestamp. I'll give you guys a second to move on ahead if you so choose. Still here? Awesome. During the credits of Leroy and Stitch the movie, there's an official list of every experiment along with their corresponding number. I defer to that list and work with a friend of mine over on Instagram. Their account's name is Lilo's Library in order to function on their one true place based on their namesake of that given experiment. I will say I don't just pull these functions out of nowhere. There is a general guideline for how Jumpa's creations are all organized. As for instance, numbers 000 through 099 are categorized as being the household helpers. Numbers 100 through 199 are the civic disturbances. 200 through 299 are categorized as being the technological and scientific experiments like Sparky. Numbers 300 through 399 are the psychological experiments. 400 through 499 are the militaristic experiments. 500 through 599, which are my personal favorites, are the elemental manipulators. And lastly, experiments 600 onward would all be categorized as the doomsday experiments, like Stitch. Given both the name and the number, I can get to work. Today's cousin is 019, named Clumsy. Today's cousin took a lot of brainstorming. I was going for something that looked wobbly, I guess. Unstable, even. Like they're tipping right over if they stand up too fast. At the surface, they're, well, an abomination. Before we get into design inspirations and whatnot, I do want to talk about something serious. Well, not not too serious. It's more of a this fun thing Disney built a whole show around is actually pretty terrible when you think about it. Okay, so growing up, I always loved how Jumba created these unique experiments to carry out hyper specific functions. Take, for example, Slushy, Hammerface, and Topper. They're all perfectly suited to fit their niches. When it comes to cousins like Whoops, though, for example, I couldn't help but feel sad for them. Like, they were made to be the ultimate weapon, not unlike Stitch. However, because of some errors during the creation process, Whoops kind of became this hyper clumsy experiment that can barely walk without tipping over. Whoops is forced to struggle to walk and function for the rest of her life because of mistakes Jumba made. Jumba decided to create life based on whatever he either needed or thought would be fun at the time. He's essentially playing the role of a god to these experiments. He decides what they will be created to do for the rest of their lives. I mean, imagine being created with the sole purpose of popping popcorn for a mad scientist, or to be an untamable powerhouse created to be just pure evil and made as a tool of revenge, like Experiment 627. Jumbo's will dictates who these creatures are or who they can be. Sure, Lilo might help turn them from bad to good, but by and large, she's still working within the confines that Jumba sort of set up for her. Like Colonel, they still make popcorn. He's just now employed in a local movie theater. She finds the closest equivalent to what each cousin was supposed to be doing, and then kind of shoehorns them into that. Come to think of it, 627 never actually found a home in the show. They were created on a whim and engineered to be evil just because their creator was in a bad mood one day. It's because of that flippancy that 627 needs to stay dehydrated now and can't find a home. So, why am I bringing this up? Well, as much as I love the flashier powerhouse experiments like Slushy, Kix, and Sparky, I'm also fascinated and saddened by cousins like Whoops, the ones that, at first glance, might not have a clear one true place, might find it difficult to carry out their everyday functions. And so enters 019. Building off this concept, I knew I wanted to give her a large, blocky head, something vaguely reminiscent of Frankenstein's monster in its shape, which means it would be less circular or ovular and more rectangular. They would also have tiny arms, which leave quite a bit to be desired so far as dexterity is concerned. When she walks, she needs to sort of swing her oversized feet out in front of her, causing her to sort of wobble a little bit. For the color, I went with orange. At this point in my design process, I had only had about two experiments drawn that were orange, so I figured Clumsy could be a fun third. Her original design looked a bit plain, so I gave 019 a set of elbow antennas, I guess, like heat. I also drew an underbite, which showcases her two very large teeth. I was originally going to do an overbite instead with a set of buck teeth, but I thought that would look too similar to Whoops, so I wound up scrapping that idea. Lastly, I give Clumsy a light orange, almost yellow set of color patches around her eyes, the same color as her chest patch, but I ended up wanting to something a little bit different, something that would also fill up kind of the empty space between her eyes. So that led me with going with a darker orange strip instead, which sort of spans across the length of her face and covers up a portion of her forehead. I'm very happy with how this turned out. It took a while to get there, but like I said, I do really like this quite a bit. And here she is. I think she's cute, despite her constantly falling over and stumbling. I wanted to give her a smile for an introductory photo. 0 would debut in an episode named Finding Balance. Clumsy was activated by a melting ice cube which happened to be left nearby. The episode synopsis would be as follows. Nani's expecting the house inspector. With recent capture of a cousin who's innately clumsy, will Nana be able to hold order before the inspection? Or will this top heavy, unconventionally limbed experiment create more of a headache for the Ohana? At the same time, Pleakley is taking an interest in both Zumba and calisthenics. Clumsy would find her one true place teaching a yoga class. She might not be all that good at walking or even standing upright, but it turns out she can walk pretty easily if she just uses her hands. As luck would have it, she's also incredibly flexible. Let me know what you guys think. So, one last thing, the person who's been working with me on this project used to work with someone else, another artist by the name of Sketch Lampoon, and they did pretty much the same thing I'm currently doing, designing all of the unconfirmed Lilo Stitch experiments. However, they never finished. They gave me permission to use their designs either in part or in a whole, as long as I credit them, which I've been doing sort of throughout this project whenever their designs come up. Um, However, in addition to that, and I'm using this as another excuse just to shout out other artists, I like to look up popular fan designs of Lilo and Stitch experiments after I get done designing my own. I think it's kind of fun, and it just always amazes me how two people can have widely different interpretations for the exact same prompt. Or sometimes, I guess, have very similar trains of thoughts and design inspirations given the same prompt as well. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to be looking at Sketch Lampoon's design for experiment 019. Here she is. The purple color is a lot of fun, and I really like the freckles under her eyes. I think it's so cute, and I like it a lot. 30 out of 10. If you've spent any time online looking up unconfirmed Lilo and Stitch experiments, you've probably seen some of Sketch Lampoon's work before, but if you haven't, or if you have and you don't follow them, please go over to DeviantArt and go check out their work. They have so much over there, and I do plan on pulling from more of their designs in the future, and some just sort of reusing their designs. So who knows? If you go over there, maybe you'll get a bit of a sneak peek for what's to come. If you enjoyed this video, or honestly, even if you didn't, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm still pretty new to the YouTube thing, and every like and follow, it really does help a lot. I've also started a Patreon. If you wanted to go support me over there as well, I would greatly appreciate that. I try to upload videos earlier over there, along with some scripts to things like video essays. I hopefully will be coming out with soon, and audio for that as well. You will also have discounts on everything in my Etsy. Speaking of my Etsy, I have a bunch of stickers over there. If you guys wanted to go support me on that, I would greatly appreciate that as well. And be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Troy the Art Boy. And while you're over there, be sure to check out my friend Leo Zyber over on Instagram as well. I have so many other designs already uploaded over there, along with just so much more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you will see me in the next one. Bye.